Yo, we're back, and right after giving some credit to the UFC for a pretty good card, we back to this lame ass fight night bullshit. Fight nights used to be good, man. Fight nights used to be good. Now it just feels like they're employed with a bunch of fuckheads, man. But Gilbert Burns fighting. Fan favorite, always has been, so we're excited for that. But listen, I'm pretty sure he has 4 losses in a row. And now he's fighting not a young guy. Mike Malott's like 32 as well, but Mike Malott hasn't been fighting as long as Gilbert has been fighting. Gilbert's 38 and has been fighting for a fucking long time at this point. Coming off of a first-round KO, bad KO, versus Michael Morales. Bro be wearing fucking dresses. How are we getting slept by some dude who wears dresses, man? Shit. Nah, that was after the fact. How was Gilbert supposed to know? And then Sean Brady whooped him pretty bad in a unanimous decision. He got schlepped bad by Jack Della Mandela. And then got dominated unanimous decision by Bilal. Before that, though, whooped Jorge. Which is cool, I guess. Fuck. So, pretty worried. Not gonna lie. Pretty worried about Gilbert Burns. Mike Malott is also 6'1". Gilbert is 5'8" on a good day. All right? Let me emphasize that. There's plenty of days cutting weight where, Gilbert might be kind of slouched over. It might be hard for him to, fully keep his spine compressed and locked up. And, yeah, there's plenty of days where bro's walking around 5'7", 5'6 and a half. Mike Malott, 6'1", okay? So even on Mike's worst day, right, 5'11 and a half, 6 foot and a half, it's going to be tough for Gilbert to get into the pocket, and it's going to be tough for Gilbert to probably do much of anything, bro. Fuck, if I'm being honest, I don't have a lot of hope in Gilbert, but I am picking Gilbert. Why? He's the homie, man. And I mean that in a sense of fuck. We've been watching bro for a long time. He feels like the homie at this point. Mike Malott, our friend from up north, I don't know. Those guys hate on us all the time. So I'm going to go for the Brazilian. I am worried, though. I am worried. It's not like Mike has beat anybody great, right? He's beat, like, who? Kevin Holland and shit? But, I mean, in comparison of the guys they fought, yeah, I mean, fuck. Shit, wait, Mike got knocked out by Neil Magny? In 2024, hold on a minute. The Haitian Sensation sucks, man. That guy is not good at fighting, bro. I'm sorry. There's times that he pulls off an upset, and I'm almost just pretty sure it's set up by Vegas. You know what I mean? But that guy fucking sucks. And he knocked out Mike Malott? I don't remember that. And I mean, Gilbert submitted Neil Magny in 2023. So when was it that Neil knocked out Homeboy? 2024, it said, right? Let me confirm that. And I know, I mean, yeah, 2024. I know that's not necessarily how the fight game works, but shit. Does Gilbert have a chance? We're rocking with him either way. But listen, if you watched my previous video, I know I was saying fucking LaMelo Ball injured my boy Bam Adebayo. Listen, I'm a Miami Heat fan, okay? I grew up really liking Allen Iverson and Dwayne Wade. At the time, I was 6, okay? I'm not being a bandwagon. It just happened to play out this way. Believe me, if you'd like to, or don't. I don't give a shit, regardless. It's history. Somebody's going to write a book about it one day. No, just kidding. But yeah, in '06 is when I kind of started watching basketball. You know, a lot of guys obviously back then. You know, it's not like the league is now. There was some dudes back then that were fucking just fun to watch. You know, Carmelo coming up, and obviously Kobe back then, and obviously Shaq back then, and obviously Dirk and Braun, and you know, obviously LeBron's still playing. Fuck, but a lot of people, man. AI. That's what I was about to say. Is I grew up, you know, really loving AI and D-Wade. The Sixers were not, at least from the best of my memory as a 6-year-old, I remember just kind of resonating with the Heat because D-Wade, I liked him, and the Heat would win games. I liked AI, but a lot of times they would let him down. So I went with the Heat, and they happened to win the chip that year. You know, with an old Shaq, he got carried by D-Wade, by a young D-Wade, one of the best. That season is still to this day one of the best MVP seasons ever. I know this is an MMA channel, sorry. Getting a little distracted here, but the point is I'm a Heat fan. Grew up a Heat fan, but I also grew up liking LaMelo Ball. I'm not gonna lie, and he just ended up in Charlotte. We just ended up having to play them in the play-in. He just ended up grabbing onto Bam's ankle, which I didn't appreciate. He ended up almost paying us back by giving us the game, and then he ended up saying "fuck you" and hitting the game winner. Game-winning layup. Just drove right down from the half court off the timeout and just got a bucket on us like it was nothing. But he did, make no mistake, he did take Bam out of that game 11 minutes in. I mean, clear-cut footage. Bro snatched his ankle. But as a Heat fan, I'm disappointed the Heat didn't fucking stand up for Bam. The Heat didn't do shit. Regardless if you saw it in real time, him literally grabbing onto his ankle, you should have been doing something about it regardless. I don't give a fuck if you thought he grabbed his ankle or not. He ended up in the way of your star player who's dropped 84 this season in a game. 11 minutes into our all or nothing game, you know? We're out now. Obviously, the Heat are out. So the Heat should have stood up. Tyler should have done something. Andrew Wiggins, Norman Powell. I don't know. Somebody should have done something. If Jimmy was around, Jimmy would have had a word. Fuck, man. It is what it is. They're out. I did grow up being a LaMelo Ball fan, though. I will be a LaMelo. You know it because look at that. That's the number 2 jersey, right? That's what he started with until they eventually gave him number 1. I forget how that all played out, but I don't have a number 1 LaMelo Ball jersey. I just have his rookie jersey, and I've been watching the kid since he was fucking balling on 18-year-olds when bro was 12, you know, on YouTube. So I've always liked LaMelo, and I'm going to be rooting for them against, who do they play now? The Magic. The play-in has made everything kind of confusing, and fuck Orlando, right? That's the Heat's rival. So it is what it is. Let's go Charlotte, I guess. Got way sidetracked there. Sorry about that. But I just wanted to explain, you know, somebody, maybe not, but somebody could be watching that video and be like, wait a minute, bro said he's a Heat fan. Now he's wearing a Charlotte jersey. I just wanted to clear that up. Anyway, moving on. Sorry about that. We're taking Gilbert. Like I said, I'm not confident in it, but after seeing the fact that Neil Magny has knocked out Mike Malott in 2024, I'm going to take Gilbert to somehow pull some shit off, man. Fuck. Let's move on to about the only other interesting fight on the damn card, Charles Jourdain and Kyler Phillips. Kyler Phillips has been popped before for some PDs, so you always got to be suspicious of them fellas. Charles Jourdain, he's a vet, been around a long time, and he's known for just doing sick shit, or also, you know, he's got a lot of losses on his record too. You know, he's kind of one of those journeymen. But Charles Jourdain sometimes does some sick shit, and I believe he's coming off of 2-3 wins in a row, 2 submissions in a row, 2 I think first round submissions in a row. versus Kyler Phillips, who is coming off of a loss versus what's that cat's name? That Brazilian. I think another Oliveira, right? Let me check. Yeah, Venice Oliveira, however you say his first name. So he's coming off of a unanimous decision loss to him and a loss to Rob Font. 2024 Rob Font, 2024 Rob Font's better than 2025 and 2026 Rob Font. But 2024 Rob Font still kind of fucking stinks. So I'm going to roll Charles Jourdain by a flying knee. Bow! I hope that really happens so I can clip that all together. That'd be fucking sick. Flying knee close to the fence. Kind of like Corey Sandhagen, Frankie Edgar style. Maybe not round one. I'm not saying all that. All right, moving on to fucking Jai Herbert and Nalo. I'm pretty sure this is this Nalo's guy's. How do you say this guy's name? Mandel Nalo. I'm pretty sure this is his first fight in the UFC. Yeah, he's got a knockout in the Contender Series. Before that, fought a bunch of nobodies. Jai Herbert, he's obviously been schlepped. But listen, in another world, he changes the entire trajectory and story that Ilia Topuria created for himself. He was literally right there. Jai Herbert has obviously much greater experience. This dude doesn't have a fucking fight in the UFC other than the Contender Series. But not only that, I'm tired. We've talked about it so many times. I'm running out of breath with it. We cannot just keep getting these fellas that are fighting dudes who are 1-2 or 0-1 or like that's not that may as well just be amateur. I don't even know how that's considered pro in any land, anywhere, on any planet. So I'm not going to look at Nalo's record, but I guarantee that's all what it's filled with. And Jai Herbert has been in the UFC. He lost to Chris Padilla, who we just spoke about in the previous video. He's beat Kyle Nelson. He's beat Rolando. He's lost to Faris Ziam. He obviously lost Ilia Topuria, but like we said, moments away from possibly beating Ilia. He's fought Renato Moicano, but he lost. But regardless, he fought Moicano. Like, it's just, these are much greater opponents, man. Much greater opponents. So I'm going to go ahead and roll with Jai Herbert. I don't think he's completely washed. I don't think he's like some up-and-coming, going to be in the rankings and then be a champ at some point. But I don't think he's getting, whooped on by just some brand new guy who also is 36. What's this guy been doing? The hell? I mean, Jai Herbert's 37 and he's been fighting for a little while now in the UFC. What's this fucking guy Nalo been doing? Anyway, moving on. As we go, it's literally just going to be getting more and more boring, essentially. This card is not good. I'm trying my best here to make good predictions, but man, this fight nights used to be pretty fun. There used to be fight nights where I'd be like, I can't believe I'm getting this for free because I had ESPN Plus. So the fight nights felt like, it was for free because you still had to pay for pay-per-views even with having ESPN Plus, obviously. The fight nights, though, I'd be like, I cannot believe that this is free. Like, this is a banger card. It's been a little while since I felt good, about a fight night. But moving on to Jasmine versus Karine Silva. I don't really give a fuck, man. I'm going to go with Jasmine because I think she just has better grappling. I think she'll probably not maul Karine Silva, but just kind of control most of the time, and that time will be spent on the ground. And I think I think Karine Silva's losses have all been to not people who were great. She did lose to Macy Barber, I believe, who could be really, really good, obviously. Macy Barber is Macy Barber is one of them. But other than that, she's just lost to people like Viviane, Viviane Arujo, or however the fuck you say her last name. That girl's good, right? But not all that. She loses to people with experience, but it's not like they're that great. And Jasmine is that, I feel like. I feel like Jasmine is pretty experienced, pretty good grappler, has beat some pretty good opponents. If you stack them up record for record, it's probably even-ish, but I would definitely take Jasmine just in terms of experience and mat experience, grappling experience. Yeah, but who gives a fuck about that fight? I mean, really. But I got Jasmine. And then we got Thiago Moises versus Gage Young. Thiago's been around for a minute. And this will be Gage Young's first appearance in the UFC. Man. It's the same thing, man. These young cats they're just not fighting anybody, bro. And I'm not saying they don't have a chance right away when they fight an experienced guy. It's just there's a difference between the washed up experienced guy versus the experienced guy that's still out here getting some wins. You know what I mean? Like go throw Bobby Green, just some dude whose last fight was against a guy that was 1-2. Like, Bobby Green's gonna fucking dance on that guy. You know what I mean? Like, there's different levels. Thiago Moises isn't, out of this shit, right? Like, it's not like he's just been taking knockout after knockout, just been getting put out. He's been around since 2018. Yes, he did get knocked out by Jared Gordon, but then he beat Trey Ogden. That was in 2025. 2024, he lost a decision to Klein. He knocked out Mitch Ramirez. 2023, he got knocked out by St. Denis, and he submitted, just in 2023. Think about how crazy the fight game is. He submitted the Dalmatian Costa. And then Costa's gone on this crazy-ass run since 2023. So, I don't think Thiago Moises is just some guy you can just put out of there. And Gage Young, 25 years old, he just hasn't fought anybody, man. He just hasn't fought anybody. In comparison, you know what I mean? So could he come along and kind of have a great showing? Wait. Does he have... Who is this fucking... Okay, yeah. Still, the point hasn't changed, bro. Yeah, the point hasn't changed. Thiago, or Gage Young, I mean, has 2 fights in the UFC. He fucking lost to Evan Elder 10-2, and then he beat some fucking nobody. So still, the point stands. Gage G Money Young ain't getting no extra money from this fight. Unless they go to war, I guess. And they get fight of the night or some shit. Can a prelim, or that's on the main card? You see what I'm saying? Like, I get that it's a fight night, UFC, but come on, man. You got to give us a better main card than that, dog. Yeah, you got to give us a better main card than that. I'm only 20 minutes in, and my damn video's about to be over because there ain't shit to go over on this. Yeah, I'm on the prelims. Dennis and Barbosa, I don't have a pick, but I am interested in that fight. That's the last fight on the prelims. And then the one that I wanted to talk about was Robert Valentin versus Julian LeBlanc. And I think this is finally going to be Robert Valentin's official first UFC win. If you guys watched, you guys probably didn't. It was kind of lame. But he was on one of the more recent Ultimate Fighters where it was Valentina and Grasso as the coaches. And I believe he was on Valentina's team. I said Valentin because that's his last name. Shevchenko is who I'm talking about. Shevchenko and Grasso. Valentin was on Shevchenko's team for one of the more recent Ultimate Fighters. I can't remember if they were after DC and Sundin or before. But regardless, since then, and he didn't even win the Ultimate Fighter. But since then, he hasn't got no wins. I guess he showed enough. You know, he had a sick ass, I believe, spinning elbow, or maybe just a kind of like in tight telephone booth, pop the elbow out knockout. I can't quite remember. I'm trying to remember. I don't know. He had a crazy knockout. I remember that. He had a crazy knockout with the elbow on the Ultimate Fighter. And I guess that was enough to get him in the UFC. But since he's been in the UFC, he hasn't had any success. He lost to Therese Finney, and he lost to Herbera Guerrero. Both those guys are pretty good. 11-1, 10-1, obviously. Still up and coming. You know, we'll have to wait and see. And now he's fighting Julian LeBlanc, who, you know, based on the eye, has a pretty decent record as well, 10-2. I guarantee you, I haven't looked at the odds, but I guarantee you Robert Valentin's probably going to be an underdog because 11-6 won no contest versus 10-2. But here's the reason I'm going to roll with Robert Valentin, and it's because it's going to sound interesting. You should be able to do pretty well when you have better range and when you're a bigger guy, taller guy, lengthier guy. But for some reason, there's certain guys that aren't good at fighting that style. They're not good at combating the shorter, stocky guy that kind of gets in there peekaboo style. And so Robert Valentin, make no mistake, he's one of them motherfuckers, dog. That's why he has 2 losses. He got almost knocked the fuck out somehow by Herbera. And that fight was boring, bro. I mean, it was a knockout. Wait. Yeah. What did I just say? Oh, yeah, I was thinking about the wrong fight. Therese Finney was the one that was boring. No, he got knocked the fuck out by in his last fight by Herbera. Now I'm kind of thinking about my pick again. Damn. Coming off a knockout, I don't know. Shit. Let me make my point anyway. Herbera and Therese Finney are shorter, stocky guys, peekaboo style. And Valentin does not seem to do well with that. But a taller, lengthier guy who tries to stay at range the same way Robert does, Robert seems to do okay. But again, that's a very small sample size because that's not in the UFC. And the UFC hasn't had much success. So, yeah, now thinking, I mean, I'm not really rolling with him, but, like, I think it's a good chance for him to get his first UFC win, like, official UFC win, maybe. But also, this guy could just go and knock him the fuck out. Julian LeBlanc, he could just go put his lights out. So, we'll see, I guess. Pretty boring card overall, man. UFC, we got to do better with these fight nights. You got to understand the fans are coming off of this high of UFC 327, which was really, really good. Carlos Olberg knocks Yuri the fuck out with one leg. Azamat gets knocked the fuck out by Paulo Costa. Not really knocked the fuck out. He decided to opt out, we say. But that head kick was nasty, and Paulo Costa was looking good the entire time. Curtis Blades, Josh Hodkitt put on probably one of the greatest heavyweight performances that we've ever seen. Dominic Reyes, Johnny Walker, dud, but, you know, it is what it is. Curtis Blades and Josh made up for that, obviously. And then Cub, you know, legendary, put the gloves down performance against Nate Landwehr. The prelim cards were good, man. Pico put on a good performance. Kevin Holland and Randy Brown, it had its moments, but whatever. Gamrot, really cool performance. That was a good fight. Tatiana Suarez, Lupi, that was sick. That was fucking sick. Lupi almost puts her out early. Tatiana then proceeds to just maul her and submits her. And then the early prelims was even pretty good with the Chris Padilla and then Kevin Gastelum and Vincente going up to middleweight and getting his first win there with his signature Vincente fucking Anaconda / Darce, whatever it is. And then Charles Radke hopping on the mic, dropping all the F-bombs, and it's not the fuck word. Pretty crazy. And now we move on to Gilbert Burns, Mike Malott, Kyler Phillips, Charles Jourdain, Mendel Nalo, Jai Herbert, Jasmine, not going to try to pronounce her last name, versus Corrine Silva, Thiago Moises versus Gage Young. So, with that being said, we're going to take a quick look at the next UFC Fight Night to hope that it's better. The next UFC Fight Night says Brady versus Buckley, but then for some reason the top fight that it's showing me is Aljo versus Youssef Zalal. But I'm gonna go ahead and assume Aljo isn't headlining without the belt. So Brady versus Buckley, that's a sick fight. I enjoy that. That'll be cool. Aljo versus Youssef and Zalal. Youssef Zalal. What a name. That's a cool fight. That's a cool fight. Oh, Norma Dumont. Fan favorite there, and Norma Dumont versus Jocelyn Edwards. That's decent. We like Norma Dumont. Rafa Garcias and Alexander Hernandez. Jeez. Alexander's got to hang him up soon at some point, you'd think. David Grant, Juan Adrian. Montel Jackson, Ronaldo Barcelos. Marcus Buquea versus Ryan Spann. That's a decent fight. Marcus Buquea is that motherfucking former judo champ, right? Or something. He's some type of Olympic champ, but then he started MMA late. Versus Ryan Superman Spann. I don't know why I did that. The prelim of that. Yikes. All right, so the next UFC Fight Night after Burns and Malott isn't that great either, but it's a little bit better. Oh, the next one, though, starting off with Jack Della Mandela versus Carlos Pradas. That's a sick fight. That's fucking sick. Oh, Beneil Dariush versus Quillian. That's a cool fight. Tim Elliott versus Steve Erceg. That's a pretty cool fight, low-key. Kinda. Kinda-ish. That's a pretty cool fight. Shamil versus Brando. That's a cool fight. I like that one. Ooh, Tai Tuivasa's back. Really? Really? I would have thought he was cut. Tai has not been looking good as of late. He had his moments versus Taliesin Teixeira, I suppose, but he's fighting. Why is it? Who's he fighting? Sean Sharaf, 4-2. Who is Sean Sharaf? Is he one of those guys that was in the Olympics for a while too? Or what the fuck is that record? Maybe Tai Tuivasa gets a win, huh? Maybe we get to see another Shuey. It's been a minute. That prelim's pretty lame too. All right, so the next 3 UFC Fight Nights aren't the greatest, man. But at least then we get UFC 328, Hamzat and Strickland, Joshua Vaughn and Tatsuya Tara, and Volkov versus freaking Waldo Cortez, Sean Brady, Waquan Buckley. Wait. Oh, so it did get moved? Wait. So Aljo is headlining? Oh boy, that fight night reeks. Good God. King Green back again versus Jeremy Stevens? Shit. UFC 328's a banger. Oh, yeah, and then we got Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan. Jan Blachowicz going to knock him the fuck out the way he should have in the first fight, and then they're going to set up Jan versus Paulo for the interim and or vacated light heavyweight belt, because it doesn't make sense to have Yuri and Magomed fight when they're both coming off losses. Bad losses. You got the Adbeta dude versus Ozzy Diaz. Joel Alvarez versus... Holy fuck. Who is a... What the... This guy been fighting for a minute. 29-1. Submitted Neil Magny as his only fight in the UFC. But before that, held on to a belt for a long time in Bellator. Lost it to Jason Jackson. Yaroslav Omasov. I'm pretty sure I actually watched that fight with Jason Jackson. Oh, and Storley. Yeah, and he's fought Douglas Lima. Damn. Versus Joel Alvarez. That'll be a good fight. Dude, see, here's the thing, though. So I like that a lot. UFC 328 is a banger. The problem is, though, is I think they need to reconstruct how they do this. I don't think they need to have an early prelim and a prelim and a main card for, like, whatever these are called now, like the numbered events, because they're not pay-per-views, right? For the numbered events, I think you still you just should do main card and prelim, and I think what you should do instead is fill out these fight nights and make them a bit better so that more people are tuned in and keeping track and keeping date with what's up and coming for the big numbered events. And they're not missing nothing, and they know what's happening. But if you start losing people, if people start losing interest in the UFC fight nights, you know, now they're maybe not as informed on the numbered events. If maybe they're off socials for a little bit, maybe they're you know, busy with business for a week, they might miss something with the numbered event, you know? Because you know how they are in the week, every fight's the week before, they start showing shit for the next week or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, if you're not watching that, you're not necessarily as informed. These fight nights are getting lame, bro. These numbered events are bangers. But you got them fucking starting at 3 p.m., brother. You got them starting at 3 p.m. on a Saturday. You cannot tell me that that's the greatest thing for viewership when a lot of people still work on Saturdays. 3 p.m.? You can't tell me that. That doesn't even make sense. So they got to reconstruct this shit, truly. They need to just stay main and prelim for every card, whether numbered or fight night. And these fight nights need to have some of these better fights, like Jeremy Stevens and Bobby Green. Adbeta versus Ozzy Diaz. Those are the kinds of fights that need to be on fight nights. Joel Alvarez versus this Amosov dude. Those are the type of fights that can fill out fight nights, make them really interesting. Make fans appreciate that they get them. Right now, everybody's just confused on why we should even appreciate any fight night and or any motherfucking numbered event, because now all the promos are just AI. Like we're so dumb we can't pick up on it. This shit, dog. UFC, we got to do better. Dana, we got to do better. I'm not going to stay off your ass. Pause. Big pause. Had to click play again. But yeah, man, that's the video. I just wanted to go over some of the more upcoming and next few weeks, because some of these fight nights are dead, man. So shit. That's that. That's that, brother. Super excited for UFC 328 whenever that occurs. That is on May 9th. A little ways away. But other than that, tune in. Appreciate you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit. And let me know if you like my predictions. Let me know if there's maybe any of these fights on this fight night on the prelim or something that, maybe I'm just not informed on these guys. Maybe they really are super exciting. Maybe they're a cool prospect. Let me know if you have anybody on those cards that you're interested in and that you've been looking at and that maybe I'm just completely misinformed. I'd like to hear your opinion. Let me know what you think of the picks. I know I didn't give many, but that's the UFC's fault, not my fault. Sorry.